At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening. Officially halfway through the work week, and we have a fantastic end of our work week ahead. I'm meteorologist Gabe here for Mississippi Live Weather at 10, and that is the big headline is, of course, those dry conditions heading into the back end of this week. But unfortunately, before we get to enjoy those dry conditions, we do have a cold forecast as we get our Thursday started. So winter surges in tonight. We're not done with the season just yet, and some of that cold air will move back into North Mississippi. We felt a little bit of it today, but that drop really going to continue into the start of our Thursday. That cold burst does remain short, and some warmer temperatures are on the horizon. A little bit of light at the end of the tunnel when we're talking about this forecast, but that dry forecast, that's what continues through the weekend, despite the cold and dry flip-flop forecast that we're going to be in, or should I say cold and warm flip-flop forecast over the next couple of days. As we take a look at that first 12, you can see 29 degrees already by 11 o'clock, and we'll see some of those current temperatures as well across the North Mississippi Storm Chaser cameras. 2 a.m. still 26 degrees, and as we take a look towards those morning commutes, we're going to be in the low 20s. And guys, unfortunately, it doesn't end there. Northerly winds, even about 5 to 10 miles an hour, that's going to cause those wind chills to take a step back as well. So low 20s, that's already a cold forecast, but some areas wind chills could be down into the teens. Again, we'll look at that in full detail here in just a moment, but I want you guys to get that in your head before we continue with this forecast. So as of right now, Caledonia trying to get a little bit more mild than other locations are. 44 degrees right now. That is down, yes, because that's down there in Lowndes County. So it is trending warmer. That's not the actual reading, so I don't want you to pay attention to that. Let's pay attention to the skies, and that is going to be that cloud cover still looming overhead, but moving out of the area over those overnight hours. As we take a look towards Winona, this is more like what I expected. 36 degrees there in Montgomery County. Feels like 31 again. That's only a 6-mile-an-hour wind, but dropping at 5 degrees for those feels like temperatures. So unfortunately, cold temperatures are going to feel miserably cold as we get out the door for our Thursday morning plans. And Montgomery County, again, cold, but over here in Tupelo, we're already at freezing. Brought to you by the folks at Mitchell, Cunningham, and Bowling, giving you this look at the temperature forecast. And I want you to pay more attention to the feels like value. 9-mile-an-hour wind out of the northwest, making it feel like 24 degrees in this moment. I walked outside not too long ago, and I immediately came back inside because that cold air, again, doesn't need to be messed with. That winter air surging into the area, we're glad that it's only for a short period of time, but nonetheless, our Thursday morning, we need to prepare and get those layers ready as we head out the door. Mama Justice Doppler radar staying with those clear conditions across North Mississippi. Not a drop of rainfall. Now, 48 hours ago was a little bit different story. You can see some of those totals amounting to half of an inch all the way up to an inch in some locations, but over the past 24 hours, that forecast has changed and we've remained on the drier side all throughout our Wednesday. Not too bad of a forecast. Now, it was gloomy, but all those clouds did not have a drop of rainfall attached to it. If we expand things out, you can see a lot of that rainfall has shifted out towards the East Coast and left us with the dry pattern. I mean, we were right in that window of dry air and definitely not complaining about that forecast because if you're like me and over at the Maynor household, that ground was still very mushy. Yeah, I mean, I tracked mud into the house like I mentioned earlier on. So I'm ready for it to be dry. I'm ready for those ground conditions to dry up as well. And I know a few locations that are still seeing ice on the ground. Matt was talking about it over in Tishomingo County earlier. That will start to clear up as well. This rainfall helped clear out some of it, but that warmer air pushing in beyond this system, that's what's going to really drive out that snowfall, the ice, that lingering effect that has been on the forecast far too long. That frontal system well over towards the Atlantic coast. If we zoom things out, we can see that high pressure does move into our weather story. That currently sitting out there towards Texas. So while it's out there, we are still getting these breezy conditions that are pushing in some of that northern air all the way in here to North Mississippi. And yes, I mean, we are in a dominant ridging pattern. So that system way out there towards West Texas is continuing to drive our forecast here in North Mississippi. So that cold, dry air will be in place for our Thursday, but fortunately does not stick around for too long. As you can see, that ridge that you can see out there towards the west, that axis starting to move a little bit more east. That's going to swap our winds from a northerly wind during our Thursday morning to more of a southerly wind as we get into the back end of our Thursday. And that's going to make things warmer by Friday. So like we said, this is a brief time frame where those temperatures are going to be unbearable, so to say. Thursday, 6 a.m., still seeing those northerly winds over the top of North Mississippi, but a large part of that cloud cover driven out towards the east. So we are staying mostly dry, or should I say mostly clear and dry for our Thursday morning forecast into the early afternoon. Copy and paste those same conditions, but add to it some warmer values as we get into that afternoon time frame. Now, I'll say this, it's not going to be warm by any means, but warmer than those morning temperatures. So not exactly uniform across the board like what we had today. It does get a bit better. As we take a look at that Thursday afternoon forecast, continues to be on the drier side, but there's where we're topping out. I mean, 23 degrees on our Thursday morning, 44 by our Thursday afternoon. Of course, that is the shift in the winds, going from a northerly wind to more of a westerly component, but also that sunshine helping provide us a little bit of that warmth as well, reaching all the way to the surface, and that cloud cover not preventing it anymore. It's starting to reach a change, and that change is definitely a good change for our forecast moving forward. So coming up here in the next 60, we are going to be breaking down this forecast in much more detail because we just talked about the cold temperatures. Guys, there are so many positives heading into this weekend that you will leave this forecast smiling. I can guarantee that. It is that good of an outlook, and I know for folks that were hard hit by last weekend's storms, or should I say 2 weekends ago, winter storm. It's 10 o'clock, I apologize. But that winter storm that is still causing impacts to this day, finally getting some better conditions and good news for those folks that were affected. All of that coming up on Mississippi Live Weather at 10, live here from the Room to Room Weather Center in the next 60 seconds.
As a bankruptcy firm, Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling realizes many people are worried about their finances. We're here to guide you through the next steps to restart your life with easy video appointments. New clients don't have to leave home to get information about becoming debt-free. Also, convenient in-office appointments are available at the low cost of $340 upfront for a Chapter 13. You can be on your way to being debt-free. Contact Mitchell, Cunningham & Bowling today or visit our website at mcdebtfree.com. We are here to help you.
By the time you see the symptoms of lung cancer, it could be too late. Now there's a new scan that can detect lung cancer early. If you smoked, get scanned.
You wonder how they're going to experience the real world in real safety, where all kids are welcome and everyone has a path forward to new skills, advancement, leadership, something they will carry with them the rest of their lives.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Happy weather. That's what's on the way heading into this weekend. Folks in chat talking about it, and I see a ton of excitement. So feel free to join the conversation today on Mississippi Live Weather on all of our socials. We'd love to talk to you guys there, answer any questions, or just share the good news. And that is definitely going to be this weekend's forecast. Low temperatures since midnight. As you can see, a little bit colder in some spots with upper 20s there in the northwest part of the state. But down the further south and east you go, some more mild temperatures, relatively speaking, with 37 Columbus, 35 Macon and Aliceville, and 34 right there towards Stark Vegas. So it was a cold start. Not much change as the day went on, though, and honestly, temperatures right now, the coldest they've been all day long, and that is accounting for those morning lows that we had earlier on today. Those temperatures starting to dip more and more, and we're 28 in Tunica, same thing around Holly Springs, and a lot of North Mississippi already below freezing, from Tupelo to Grenada, all the way up there towards Senatobia. So Golden Triangle, the folks towards the south, You're going to get there at some point, but you're lucky that you're just trending a little bit more mild for the time being. I did mention Caledonia's site was not working properly. We've been dealing with that all day long, unfortunately, but that should get back to a sense of normalcy getting into our forecast tomorrow. So if you see any readings there in Lowndes County, I do apologize that there is a little bit of a technical error there, but no, it's not 44 right now. You're right along Starkville and Macon there in the mid to upper 30s. So you'll trend down as well, unfortunately. But this is only one final day of winter, at least for the next several days, before we get to enjoy some of that milder air. Temperature change, a significant drop. So if you're expecting similar conditions to this morning, you are mistaken. It is going to feel much different and much colder. So have those layers ready. Have a nice warm jacket on standby. I have the Mississippi Live weather jacket, and trust me, when I see temperatures like this, I keep that right by my side all day long. The one fortunate thing that we've had with today's forecast is the cloud cover, and that kept the temperatures mild this morning, but that's not going to be in effect for our Thursday morning. All of that moisture starting to be driven out towards the East Coast, and that includes our cloud cover here in North Mississippi. And that cloud cover, our blanket that was keeping us warm, not going to be keeping us warm heading into tonight. That cloud cover is starting to taper on out, and we'll be seeing some drier and clearer conditions overnight tonight. As we take a look at that surface analysis, again, you see the effects of that front off there towards the East Coast. We've been enjoying a dry forecast, but that cloud cover was trying to linger. Not exactly going to be the case heading into our Thursday. We are entering a much clearer side of our forecast. As we look at our day planner, midnight tonight, 28 degrees. Some areas already at 28 degrees, but that will cool off into the low 20s by 6 a.m. and some areas could be, I don't even want to say it, upper teens possible, unfortunately, but that's just those actual temperatures. We'll see here in just a moment the wind chill factored into these temperatures, and it's going to make it feel so much worse. And you're going to definitely take my layer up advice a little bit more personally, because it is going to be affecting all of us here in North Mississippi. Thursday morning, you can see those dry and clear conditions still overhead, so going to be a beautiful sunrise across the Magnolia State as those clear skies shift into North Mississippi. But those temperatures, sunrises will come at a cost. We're 22 degrees in Tupelo, 22 around Grenada, 21 Eupora, 23 Macon, Louisville, and 25 down around Aliceville. You do see Holly Springs is the lone teen on this graphic, but I would not be shocked at all if a few of those surrounding areas right along the Tennessee state line were around that same margin, but it really doesn't matter. This is cold enough air that's going to be noticeably different and noticeably colder and something we need to prepare for. So I do hope you guys have those jackets and those layers on standby. But those wind chills, we were talking about those just a moment ago, dropping our temperatures currently. They're going to continue to do that into our Thursday morning with mid-teens possible for those feels-like values, low 20s elsewhere where it's a little bit more mild, but winds will still be a factor getting into our Thursday forecast. But as we go about the day, that temperature will warm up no matter where we're at, and that sunshine going to be playing a big factor in our forecast as well. By mid to late morning, you can see some of that cloud cover shifting off towards the Alabama state line and leaving us mostly clear here in North Mississippi. Now that sunshine helps warm up our atmosphere and reaches all the way to the surface since that cloud cover has shifted out. So that's why this pattern does matter, is because it doesn't allow those temperatures to be prevented from warming up. This is going to be a change in that pattern, and definitely ready for it, right? North Mississippi, as Thursday evening comes into play, we will see those temperatures warm up. It's not going to be a significant warm up. I do want to say that. We're talking low 20s for Thursday morning. We're mid to upper 40s by the afternoon with 44 New Albany, Tupelo, Amory, 47 Kosciuszko, and 45 for folks out there in Cleveland. So it'll be very similar to what we had today, but the starting temperatures is where the difference will be felt. But then the big difference, the positive difference, the happy forecast comes into play as we get into our Thursday night and our Friday morning. You see that patchy cloud cover trying to linger in the forecast, but where are those winds coming from? The south. And down south is the Gulf, and that Gulf has warmer air, and that's what's shifting our temperatures getting into our Friday. That's why this is such a positive forecast, is because that shift in the wind direction is all the difference as we get into our Friday morning. Now, that ridging pattern, that has been what's dominated our forecast, allowing for those cold temperatures to be in place, but that starts to shift like our entire forecast, and of course, so do those temperatures. So low temperatures Friday looking much better than what they will on Thursday. We're 30 degrees in Oxford and Holly Springs. We're 28 in Booneville, so still going to be cold, but we're speaking in regards to what we're going to experience on in addition to this. And Thursday morning is a noticeable difference. Friday morning trending in the right direction. 30 degrees Golden Triangle, 35 Belzona and Greenville, 32 Clarksdale, and 30 around Tunica. Now wind chill not going to be as much of a factor, so it shows that high pressure center moving closer, and meaning those winds get a little bit calmer as well. So not exactly concerned about those temperatures on Friday, should be a bit more bearable. Pretty much seasonable for this time of year. But Friday afternoon, that is the big story, and it's going to be paired with beautiful conditions in the sky. I don't want to overlook that. We're talking about sunshine from start to finish. So if you do have any end of the week plans, and it could be our Mississippi Live game of the week, which we'll get to that forecast in just a moment. But if you're looking to head out there, you will see some great conditions paired along with it. But if you're just looking to make some plans outdoors on your Friday afternoon, dare I say, it'll be good enough for picnic weather. Yes, heading out to the park, it is going to be beautiful sunny skies, and temperature-wise, we'll see in just a moment, not going to be too bad either. Now this front, yes, unfortunately, that is the one wrench in this forecast, is it does drop our temperatures just briefly on Saturday, but not by a significant margin. We'll look at that on the 7-day later on, but that's going to be the one thing with this forecast, is that brief dip before a major comeback heading into Super Bowl Sunday and the forecast beyond. Yes, 70s, they're going to be back and better than ever heading into parts of next week. But here's a look at your high temperatures Friday. Guys, let's just marvel at this for a second, because you want to know when the last time we saw 60s were? I believe it was before the winter storm moved into North Mississippi. That was over 2 weeks ago. So folks, it's been a while since we've seen temperatures this warm, and I want us, all of us, including me, to appreciate what is going to be taking place Friday afternoon, because I'm using the term warm, and I haven't heard that term in quite a while. 62 degrees in Houston, 59 Hamilton, 60 in Oxford. Folks out there definitely need some of that melting. Same thing in Iuka with 57 degrees. 64 Belzona and 65 in Greenville. On top of this already positive forecast, what if I told you this wasn't even the warmest it'll be? That's right, getting into that extended forecast, temperatures get even warmer. It's going to be, oh, it's so good. I'm so excited. So that happy forecast, as they said in the chat, very fitting to describe what we'll have heading into next week. Now, we do have our Game of the Week forecast, and like I mentioned, this is going to be a great time to make some plans to head out there to Columbus to hang with us at West Lowndes as Ingomar comes into town to take them on. Should be a great matchup between two great teams. 50 degrees by that first hit, 44 towards that final buzzer, but it's the clear skies in the forecast that definitely stand out as well, and we're going to stay clear into those overnight hours as well as we start our weekend off strong. But excited to get out there to cover this. Our Ethan Foster going to join us and get those highlights for us. And we'll have those airing Friday night at 10 o'clock per usual. And a big thank you to the folks at Langston a Lot for providing us this look into our game of the week. Love getting to do this. Love seeing the action there. I guess in this case in West Lowndes, but should be a great atmosphere. And Ethan going to capture all of that in full detail. Does a great job week after week. Let's get into that 7-day forecast and continue this happy forecast, because as you take a look Friday, 60 degrees, that's phenomenal. But it gets better. 53, there's that dip on Saturday, but then 63 Sunday, 66 on Monday, 69 on Tuesday, 68 by Wednesday. Guys, we are transitioning those seasons. I don't want to say for good, but at least for the next 7 days, and making it feel, dare I say, a little bit more like spring by Wednesday of next week, because not only are those high temperatures climbing, low temperatures follow suit. We're going to be in the low 40s Monday, but potentially low 50s by Wednesday. I will say that does come at a cost, because we could be dealing with some storms heading into next week. But as of right now, there's still some questions with that forecast, and we'll take questions any day of the week, because that means that certainty is not very high. Now, we're continuing to assess that behind the scenes, and that is in the distant forecast, so do not let that overlook any of the beautiful days that we're going to be experiencing heading into next week. Again, a happy forecast ahead, and we get to enjoy that as early as our Friday afternoon. So I do, Pat saying that makes me happy, happy, happy. Couldn't have said it better. That is how we're going to describe this forecast. We're going to end this show with a smile, and any gabbing that should be done in the chat should be about this forecast, because this needs all the credit in the world heading into next week. Tonight, make sure to, of course, stay warm. I don't want to move on from the cold temperatures that we'll be getting on our Thursday. It is going to be that dip in the forecast. I'll show it to you one more time. 22 on Thursday morning, mid-40s by the afternoon. So still stay warm and stay prepared, but be excited about what's to come heading into our weekend. You guys have a fantastic night. I won't keep you up too late, because it is that midweek stretch. we're on that home stretch, and we're going to end this week strong, just like this forecast, and we can't wait to showcase that here on Mississippi Live Weather. If you have not already done so, make sure to download that free app today on iOS and Android. Again, we appreciate all of your support for us here at Mississippi Live Weather and just your trust in keeping you guys safe. That is always our number one priority, and we plan on doing that even in a sunny forecast, but especially whenever we get into that spring season and potentially some stormy weather moves in, we'll be here every step of the way, updating you guys on what you need to know well in advance during the storm and even post-storm. And Matt has been doing that with the ice storm coverage, letting us know how to stay safe. And he's done a phenomenal job with that. And I hope you guys have been heeding that advice and staying warm and staying safe throughout this process. Our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to those folks still dealing with the damage. And there are still thousands that are without power tonight. So just continue to say prayers for them, that they do stay warm. And if you can, helping out a neighbor goes a long way. And you can definitely do that and help them out just by, being a Mississippian and helping out those that are around us. You guys have a fantastic night. Our next broadcast is going to be at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley. She'll have more updates on this cold forecast we're experiencing on Thursday, but she'll also have more updates on that happy forecast moving forward. I hope you guys do have a fantastic night. Stay smiling because it's a good forecast ahead. We'll see you bright and early at 6:30.
The bravest thing that my dad has done has been going back to school.
It wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
The bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
Even though Gabe grew up in Alabama, Mississippi has now become his home and his family. And one thing about Gabe is he keeps his family safe.